What's up guys, Ryan here. Today we're going to talk about December 2017 when I got to experience my first big fourth quarter holiday sales rush. I made $2,000 more in December than I did in November, in total just around $9,400, spearheaded by me launching 7 new SKUs in Amazon FBA under a brand new brand targeted to a younger demographic that made perfect Christmas gifts. So it saw an instant spike. Amazon merch did just under $4,000 of royalties. And I'll have to tell you the story about that there because it's not probably what you're expecting. Dropshipped print on demand hit over $1,700. It was a massive month compared to any month prior. And I'm going to tell you how I scaled that up so much. It wasn't just the fourth quarter sales bump, but there was some actual strategy involved. So let's get to the numbers. So Amazon FBA, I did $35,000 in revenue, which if you remember my November 2017 income report, I only did $13,000. So this massive bump in revenue was really twofold. It was due to the holiday sales rush, but also I launched 7 new SKUs under a new brand. So all 7 were in the same brand that arrived to FBA warehouse and were available for sale just in time for the holidays. And what's crazy is I started working on this order back in June. And just between like designing everything and making sure everything was right and the production times and some of the units were oversized. I'm actually going to do a whole nother YouTube video on this, on just this experience, because there is a lot of takeaways. But all 7 SKUs made it to the FBA for, in time for the holidays, and they got to selling, and 3 of them actually sold at a loss. So again, when you launch brand new products, there's advertising costs involved. And that's why you really want to pad your profit margins when you launch new products. If you don't have at least like a 25% profit margin on the product, selling it at a price point that's competitive, you probably want to skip over that product because you're going to need to advertise quite a bit initially to get that traction. So I only made $3,379 of profit, which again, that's not a bad number. It's nothing to scoff at, but a 9% profit margin is not ideal. That's not what we are aiming for. Also, if you see the Fetcher chart here, you'll notice a big dip on 12/29. And what that represents is the monthly storage fees being billed to me. So while $1,500 of storage fees seems like a lot, I am recording this video in 2019, and the storage fees that I paid in 2018 make $1,500 look like a joke because Amazon restructured their fourth quarter storage fees in 2018 and they were much higher. So if the same fees had applied in 2017, I would have probably been operating in the red just due to the poor timing. In that case, it would have been bad that my new SKUs arrived in time for Christmas probably, because I would have just instantly gotten billed like a fourth quarter storage fee, and they wouldn't even have had time to fully capitalize on the fourth quarter sales rush because they arrived in December, and then in December, these FBA warehouses get absolutely inundated with a flood of inventory to intake. So a lot of times inventory just sits there for a week or longer before an Amazon employee can scan it in and it actually shows up as in stock on the website. So don't forget to take that into account when you're doing your inventory projections. If you want to stay in stock, give yourself an extra, I'd say 10 days in your projections. So anyways, $3,379 of profit for the fourth quarter. It was my first fourth quarter on Amazon FBA, and I was excited. I was happy to see that I made some money and really excited to see what 2018 was going to bring me. So Amazon merch, I did $3,985 in royalties on $13,400 of revenue. Now, most people would be really happy with that. I'm not saying that I wasn't happy with that, but there's a backstory here. So I was doing tons of research during my merch journey, learning from people that had been doing it longer than I was. And based on the stories I heard of Amazon merch in 2016 December, we should have been able to project $10,000 plus of royalty. Now, I know they had been letting in more sellers, and you can subscribe to the belief that things were saturated and that was going to hold back sales, etc. But that actually didn't affect sales as much as just that Amazon ran out of stock of a bunch of popular t-shirt sizes and colors at the worst time possible during the biggest spike of sales in the year. And as a result, people were complaining all over Facebook groups, Reddit groups, etc., that their listings were completely invisible. They just weren't showing up on Amazon. They were truly throttled, meaning Amazon just wasn't showing them in search results. Best sellers all of a sudden went quiet and you just weren't seeing any sales. So many people did much worse than I did in December. My $4,000 royalty was primarily because even if my listings were suppressed organically on Amazon, I went in and did my due diligence and I mentioned in my November income report that I got into Amazon marketing services, and I had set up advertising campaigns for a ton of my shirts. I didn't necessarily put really high bids in, but just having the advertising campaigns with low bids oftentimes was enough to get them visibility in search results through the paid spots. So while organically they might not have been on page one, the promoted listings had them on page one, either in a headline search ad or a sponsored product ad. And I experimented with some product display ads. That's when you're on someone else's listing and I say, hey, I want my shirt to show up as an ad on this person's listing. And you can actually key in the ASIN and try to steal their sale. I've experimented with those, but the cost per click on those is super high, much higher than the other two options. So I ended up killing most of those ad campaigns. Anyways, I was able to do $4,000 in royalties in a fourth quarter, December, where many people were let down big time by Amazon just because their inventory projections were not good enough. So dropshipped print on demand. In November, the month before, I did $236 of profit, and that was a big jump from any month prior to that. In December, I did $1,731 of profit. Let me tell you how. So I ended up sending in 5 SKUs of coffee mugs from Gear Bubble for FBA. This dramatically spiked their sales because anything that's fulfilled by Amazon with a little Prime badge is much more likely to be purchased by Prime customers. And as you've probably heard, over half of US households have Amazon Prime, so that dramatically increases your potential for a click-through and a conversion. I didn't even know that you could send in mugs for FBA, but I ended up signing up for a Gear Bubble Masterclass to learn as much as I could about this print-on-demand service, and part of my membership fee included getting 5 cases of mugs sent in for FBA with any design I wanted. In each case, I got 36 mugs. So in total, I had quite a few mugs sent in for FBA, and literally just having that Prime checkbox next to it seemed to just magically lead to sales. So it definitely helped get this overall number boosted. But I also, as you can see, signed up for Etsy via the Printful integration, and I was able to list t-shirts there. So all my best sellers from merch, I just threw up on eBay because I already knew customers liked them. So it was simple, right? 37 sales on Etsy in the fourth quarter is not that many. However, given that it was my first month on Etsy and I really didn't know what I was doing, I'll take that. You know what I mean? It definitely led to a decent bit of profit. The nice thing about Etsy is you can ask a higher price point. Their customer base seems to appreciate the vintage handmade feel of that website. And as long as your shop caters to that audience, they seem to be willing to pay more. So the profit margin on my Etsy sales was definitely higher than the royalty paid out on my Amazon sales. Even in Amazon, where I'm getting $7.19 royalty on a $20 shirt, on Etsy, I'm usually making $10. So Etsy was great. eBay, 7 sales. I'll take that. Even though today in 2019, I'm not on eBay much. Back then, I was still experimenting. And outside of the 5 FBA coffee mugs, I also had a bunch of FBM sales as well. Coffee mugs, shot glasses. The difference between FBA and FBM is just that with FBA, they're already sent to Amazon's warehouse and stored there. And that allows them to guarantee the customer that within 2 days of their purchase, they will receive the item via expedited shipping. With FBM, there's handling time built in where after the sale, I give myself a grace period when I create the product listing of usually, let's say for fourth quarter, 10 days to 14 days of handling time, meaning I get 10 to 14 days for Gear Bubble. They think it's me, but it's really Gear Bubble to produce the product that they ordered and ship it to them. So there's a difference between FBA and FBM. I had a mix of both sales, but definitely more FBA sales than FBM sales. When you do FBA mugs, if you sell for between $17.99 and $19.99, you make between like a 33 to 40% profit margin. So it's definitely worth checking out. I would not recommend doing it outside of the holiday sales rush period though, because unless you have like a proven winner, and I'll talk more about this actually next month in January 2018. But all in all, $1,731 of profit, a massive jump and improvement over any month prior for dropshipped print on demand. And it was all working out. I was excited. It was a great month. So December 2017 was a really big month for me, not just because I made $9,400 of passive income profit in only my 9th month since starting off from nothing, but also just that it served as positive affirmation that this hard work and massive investment of both time and money was paying off and returning dividends. Keeping in mind that I paid a coach to teach me Amazon FBA so that I knew I would get my first product launched, because I had been trying prior to that and it just wasn't happening. So I found a way to make sure that I got it done. With Dropship Print on Demand, I mentioned I joined a Gear Bubble mastermind. These little things, you have to figure out what works for you, and if it means making a monetary investment, which, by the way, we all are willing to make massive time investments, so we shouldn't be scared of making a monetary investment as well. Whatever it takes for you to trick yourself into holding yourself accountable. For me, if I make a monetary investment, I know I'm going to hold myself accountable to get that money back. So it's like if I pay an Amazon FBA coach, I know I'm going to be successful at Amazon FBA. If I pay that Gear Bubble mastermind fee of a couple $1,000s, it's like, okay, at face value, that sounds like a lot, but I'm recording this video in 2019. That couple $1,000s has paid such massive ROI that it's laughable. Anyways, just find what works for you. If you're struggling to take action and hold yourself accountable, just consider what I've shared with you. I mean, that's what it took for me to really see this thing through. And yeah, I mean, Amazon merch, I didn't have to make a monetary investment in order to scale the business to almost $4,000 of profit in 1 month, but I made a massive time investment, not just designing and uploading and doing keyword research, but I listened to so many podcasts. I read so many blogs, so many Reddit posts, so much niche research. So this was the culmination of, in that case, not a monetary investment, but a massive time investment. And just the big takeaway rounding up the year was that I was reaping the benefits. Today me, that day me when my bank account got that boost was reaping the benefits of the hard work and time investment of past me. And that's really what the passive income game is about. You're investing today in future you's happiness. You're not necessarily going to see the return overnight. I mean, in some cases you do. I've had a couple massive successes that I will share over the course of this journey, like my $700 profit in 1 day in October from Amazon merch. But those are so few and far apart, and you can't predict those. The founder of Gear Bubble calls them unicorns. They're not easy to come by. It takes tons of trial and error and testing, and you just have to be diligent and persistent. Anyways, I'm rambling. December 2017 was a great month. $9,400 of passive income profit. I'll take that any day of the week. And if you guys like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.
Wherever she goes, I go, we roll, we go, flying over cities down to Rio. It's Rio, love that I feel. Oh, nothing lasts forever, but I'm down for the minute, so just chill.